So I did the acidifier wrap and it was pH 4 initially. And I sprayed it with water and let it sit for 8 hours with the agar gels, right? And that maybe is a bad idea because when it is pH 4 and wet, the acid starts to eat through the paper, so it thins out a little bit, right? Gets more brittle, if you will. So you may want to think about maybe skipping a step, do a deacidification to pH 6 maybe first if you have a pH 4 wrap, and then at pH 6 you are leaving these gels on, and that is similar to the pH of the evaporust. So I did that in a prior video, and I had brought it up to the pH of the evaporust before I applied the evaporust. Maybe that's a good idea. Now what I did off camera a little bit is cleaned it up, and I got rid of some of these, and you can see these red little pieces. I got rid of them, right, like this. Anything that is fragile and will interfere with the leaf casting, which we're going to be doing later today, is going to be problematic for the leaf casting, because leaf casting won't stick really well on rusted areas, right? So anything rusty, that severely rusty, I removed already, and there is like little bit here, as you can see, just merely touching it is flaking off and falling off. You gotta get these pieces off. You just can't use them. See that? Look at that. That's a big piece actually. And anyway, so I do have this sample that I made from my pulp, and it is a pretty good match, close enough that I'm going to be using this for my leaf casting, which I already made. And you can see the videos how I make my pulp and how I make it match. There's formation aid in here as well. So the fibers, you can see them almost through the right. You can see the fibers here in this piece. They're nice and long and in there. So I'm going to use that for this, and we'll see how it goes, right? We'll do the leaf casting. I'll clean it up a bit more off camera. Some more red here. You can scrape off. And then we'll go ahead with the leaf casting. So the pH of the wrap was pH 8, and I'm going to spray it again, but not with water or the usual calcium hydroxide 25% solution. I'm going to use instead a solution that I made that has a pH of 8, same pH as the wrap. I don't want to alter it at this point, right? So I have done it, and I measured the pH, and it's pH 8, about 8, right here, happy zone kind of thing. And then I'm going to spray it with this solution and then commence with the leaf casting. And for the leaf casting, I'm using measured amounts of pulp, measured amount of fiber that I'm using here in this, and I'm going to apply about 1 mil of this to this area, a little bit less to this area, and that should cover the area quite nicely. I might also add a little bit around it, just because the areas around the staple area is quite weak, so it might need more support around it. And this is the back of the cover I'm doing it on, so it'll be hidden from view. So this is the centerfold, right? It'll be hidden from view. Now, people ask if you need to apply any methyl cellulose to this before you do leaf casting. Technically, no, you don't. But if you want to, you can go ahead and do that also. I'm not going to, right? And the fiber I'm using is abaca, part abaca and part other stuff in here. And I'm going to use it to, it already has an formation aid ready to go. It has in it retention agent also to keep the color attached to fibers. and has in it also some cotton, right? So that's going to go in here in this area. All right, so what I'm going to do is spray it and then place this on top of a felt, and the felt was sent to me by Dr. Paul. Let me show you how it looks like. This is the felt, and on this felt I'm going to be doing the leaf casting. So let's begin. Spray it with a solution that is alkaline, but the same alkalinity as the wrap itself. And do spray both sides, right? So both sides need the solution. And then you have to let it to penetrate and sit for a couple of minutes before you commence with the leaf casting. So we'll let it sit and come back and put the felt underneath and begin. So before I start with the leaf casting, I noticed that once I wetted it, some of the weaker areas are, you can see them here, needs to be excised also, right? So I did work on it, but apparently not enough. So you can see here I need to get rid of this part, right? And I need to get rid of this part here, just like that, very carefully. And then get rid of this part here. Scrape it off best you can, because this paper here is weak, right? So you don't need it. And this here needs to come off. So I got rid of all the red. It's no longer there. And whatever is in the hole will fall off eventually, won't stick anyway. So then here I have this here, right? I have this here. See the red here and this here. You couldn't see them well when the cover was wet, dry. Now that it's wet, you can see them. Some people actually cut this whole area, right? This whole area. I'm trying to do minimum intervention by not doing that. Just get rid of the bad sections. Okay, so now that you have that done, we can proceed with the leaf casting. I should call it spot casting. So I have below this, I have Dr. Paul's felt, and the first time I try it, so let's see how well we can do with this. So I'm going to add about 1 mil of my fiber to this area here. Very precise way. A mil may be too much, but I'm expanding it a bit. Calculated less than a mil, but I'm going to add about this much, right? Then for this area, even less, maybe half a mil or a quarter of a mil might work. So you can add it. And better to add less than more, honestly, because you can always add more, or you can always redo it. You don't want the section to be too thick, right? So how does this look? Looks good, actually. Looks good. I like the way the felt is taking in some of that liquid. I'm just going to go ahead and arrange the fiber so it's better arranged. And it is fine here, and it is actually pretty good here too. Doesn't need much. I couldn't get to it in time because the felt sucked up all that liquid, right? So am I done? Believe it or not, I am. So I'm not doing anything else, right? That's it. And then what I'm going to do now is put on the other Remay. And then tap it dry gently with some, especially the areas around the where you did the leaf casting. Try to get rid of some of that moisture on the top, right? There isn't much coming off because the felt is taking care of that, right? And now I'm gonna put it in the press, essentially. Just cover it with some paper towels, sandwich it between layers of plexiglass and wood, like this. Paper towels, this goes on, another layer, and then into the press it goes.